Welcome to another episode of the Shoot to Grill podcast. I'm your host, Jason Bailey, for a first time for our podcast, doing it from Beach Paradise City in Destin, Florida, beachparadisecity.com, pop. Great guest, as always, on our podcast. Get to him here in just a second because we have a new chef, because this is where grilling meets entertainment, MEATS, and this is Chef Mike Patino in Queens, New York. And he is going to be cooking something absolutely amazing for us all the way from New York. Hold on, Chef, because the gentleman reading this amazing book with a million other books behind him, all written by himself, wow. Mr. Author himself, is my buddy Brad Meltzer. And the book he's holding is The Lincoln Conspiracy, The Secret Plot to Kill America's 16th President and Why It Failed. Brad, once again, dude, look at that. Look at you, doubling up, looking good.
Well, by the way, what I love about this is people right now, especially on Zoom, they always sit in front of bookcases because they want to look smart. But yeah. I'm a narcissist that I only sit in front of my own books. That's only smart. If I wrote them. That is the only way I do it. That's just the way it's done. But thank you. I love you guys. You know we're old friends. Love you for doing this. And first of all, now you're in the same state as me for once because, Destin, I'm in Florida. But yeah. New York, man, represent. I appreciate it. I'm originally from Brooklyn, so thanks.
That's right. I thought that was interesting. We'd have an old school Brooklyn guy and a Queens guy.
My whole family's in Queens. My family's all in Bayside. They're everywhere there.
That's where I am.
Oh, really? So you buy the Corona Ice King?
Oh no, that's where my clothing store is. No. That's a little further down.
Yeah. That's where we go. But they're all in Bayside.
Well, Brad, Chef Mike can, not only does he have that clothing store, but he's a chef. Obviously he cooks and he caters and stuff. So you can maybe hook up with Meltzer and cook to his family while everyone's in quarantine, because that would be a nice treat. Okay. Before we get to the book, Chef Mike, what are you cooking? What's the meat? What's the dish? What are you cooking on? And run us through the temp and how that's going to go while we
no problem. My pleasure. Well, what I got over here is I got a Genesis grill. This was given to me by my wife years ago for Father's Day. Gotta love her. She knows what she knows how to get me, I got the grill going, and I have yes.
Oh, look at this.
Shawarma on skewers here.
Oh,
now, I've got even bigger skewers that I picked up from a chef in Israel one time. He was a chef, and we were talking. We just clicked on, and he gave me these huge, really nice shawarma, like swords. Forget about it. So the spices that I use, unfortunately, they're from Israel. Every time I go there, I pick up a bunch of spices. This is a shawarma mix. You smell this. I mean, it brings you back there.
Yeah.
So it's mixed in with two different mixes. I'll post it. I'll give you how to make it like that, and I'm gonna grill that on a really hot grill. So I want that grill marks to go.
You're gonna be about 400 or about 350?
Excuse me?
You're gonna be about 350, 400?
Oh, I'm saying 400 at least. Yeah. If I
Probably.
close it, I'll go up to 5. But I don't want to close it because I just want to grill it. I want the outside to be charred. I want the inside to be soft. This is chicken breast,
Yeah.
And chicken breast, man, if you do it wrong, it just dries out. Ain't nothing better than, eating a wet breast.
Right.
Well,
so Brad, usually what we do is pre-pandemic, we would do this live at Atlanta Grill Company, and we'd all be able to eat the food, like last time I think you were in Atlanta.
It's physically killing me right now.
I know, really. So Chef Mike, this is kind of the positive of the pandemic, is that we get to do it on Zoom, and it's just a different vibe, and we get to meet new people. And of course, Brad, when you were in Atlanta last time, you're in and out with your book tour, and now we get to talk to you from your house. So Chef Mike, you start grilling, we'll watch. I want to talk with Brad because, again, I only have so much time with them. And this new book, The Lincoln Conspiracy, I think last time we spoke might have been right before your birthday in April. You were telling me about this. This is something that a lot of people don't know, that there were numerous attempts on President Lincoln's life versus just the one we know about where he died, right?
Yeah, right. We all know the story of John Wilkes Booth ending Abraham Lincoln's presidency, but this is the story that's actually the first secret plot to kill Abraham Lincoln at the start. Because what happens is, to raise his right hand and be sworn in as America's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln has to take a train. He's got to leave his home in Springfield, Illinois. He's got to come to Washington, D.C. But the only way to get there is you got to go through Baltimore. And at the time, Maryland was a slave state. The only way to get the plot's really simple then. The plot is a secret society is plotting to kill Abraham Lincoln as he comes through Baltimore and end his presidency before it begins. And this is all true. It all really happened. And I was like, we got to write about this. So that's what the new book is, The Lincoln Conspiracy.
So I mean, you're obviously a history buff. For those that don't know, Brad is, I mean, from the History Channel, Decode It, and Lost History. I mean, just everything there is to know about history in the children's book and the line there. But when it comes to the different assassination attempts on Lincoln, especially this one, the very first one, there had to have been a time where either someone approached you or you ran across, and this was the oh wow idea to write this book. What was that time?
Yeah, so I think I first found it when we were working on the History Channel TV show, when we were doing Decoded, our old TV show. Yeah. And we had done an episode on the real Lincoln assassination, on the John Wilkes Booth story. But I had found and heard about this somewhere in the midst of that. And all I had was kind of like, you know, when you do a puzzle, you get the pieces on the edges, you get all the flats. And that's all I had. I just had kind of the framework of it. I knew it was in Baltimore. I knew it was on this train, but I didn't have the picture in the middle. And it wasn't until Josh mentioned, I'm my co-writer on this. He was our executive producer on the TV show. And he and I took a look at it and we're like, this is, you know, and we started with this, there's a train moving through the night. And on this train moving quickly, there are lots of passengers, but we're focused on three. One of them is a businessman. The other one is a woman. The third one is her invalid brother who's kind of hunched over. But none of them are who they say they are. The man is actually famous detective Alan Pinkerton, the head of the Pinkerton Detective Agency. The woman is Kate Warren, America's first female private eye. And her so-called brother is not her brother, and he's certainly not an invalid. That's Abraham Lincoln. He's wow. Literally, they gave him a disguise, they gave him a code word, they gave him, you know, they hit him on this train because they want to avoid the secret society that's trying to look for him right now and try and kill him. And I just ruined chapter 1 of the Lincoln Conspiracy for you, but that's the way it goes. But I love that story, and that was the aha, right? It's like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. And once we had that, then it was like we were off to the races.
But there was like, what, at least 3 other documented assassination attempts on Lincoln. I'm sure probably more, just like any president. Look, we've had 45 presidents in this country. There are things that we'll never know about, you know, especially in the social media era of, you know, dum-dums threatening, you know, the commander in chief, but to actually go through with it, especially then, was probably more, I don't want to say of the norm, but more to happen more then than it would now. We just don't know all these stories probably, right?
Well, you know, the difference was, and listen, everyone gets threats. No question about it. Everyone gets threats. I think the difference for Lincoln is without a doubt, I know it sounds crazy because he's all, you know, most people will say he's the best president, right? It's him or George Washington, depending on who you pick. But Lincoln was the most hated from back then, even to today. I mean, Lincoln was so hated that 10 states in the South wouldn't even put his name on the ballot, even though he was the rightful nominee, because they're like, nope, we don't recognize him. The 3 days, they gave him 3 days after he was elected. 3 days after he's elected, South Carolina passes a resolution saying, we're out, we're going to leave, we're going to secede. By the time he's sworn in and actually raises his hand, 6 different states have left the Union. And you'll see in the book, we show you some of the hate mail he gets. And it's not like, oh, I want to kill you, whatever. It's gruesome. It is, you know, and for us, I think, you know, it's very titillating for me to say, hey, we found the secret plot to kill Abraham Lincoln. But that's just the plot. The reason we wanted to tackle it is because of the era that it was in. And that is the country was cleaved in two. Whatever side you were on, you hated the other side. Whatever side you were on, you thought the other side were horrible, awful people. Does that sound familiar to you? Yeah. Right? That's exactly where we are right now. That's where we are. And we got to show what the leadership really looks like in Abraham Lincoln, right? Leadership is, Abraham Lincoln doesn't come in and pick fights. Abraham Lincoln doesn't say, you know, screw the other half. Abraham Lincoln comes in and says in his inaugural address, we're not enemies, we're friends. Meets with an open hand, not with a fist. And says, you got to defer to the better side of our angels, comes in to unite us, not to, you know, pull us further apart. And that's why it's important now, because all of us, I go right now, this week alone, I was on Fox News and I was on NPR. And you know what everyone whispers to me in the green rooms and in my ear when I'm, sitting there waiting to go on both sides, NPR, Fox News, they're all saying the same thing, which is the way we talk to each other right now as a culture is disgusting. It's disgusting the way we talk about the other side. We're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong. And we have to do what Lincoln said, which is defer to the better angels of our nature. That's how you do it right. You find, Lincoln, even in the darkest times, reached for the light. And we got to remember to start reaching for the light again.
Yeah. I tell people, and I have for years, I'm like, don't get caught up in the smoke and mirrors that is politics. All it is a different form of entertainment in order to satisfy the greater good, which would be ratings. But it's a way to grab people, divide people, instill fear, evoke an emotion, pick a side to hate against another side, which will make you passionate about whoever's leading that charge. So with that being said, it's interesting to hear you say that when you go on two different spectrums of entertainment or news, and they're saying the same thing, because I don't think that they believe half the shit that they say. They're just doing it because that's what gets ratings. It's all about the bottom.
Hey, just remember, real news doesn't get ratings. Opinions get ratings.
Correct.
Opinions get far better ratings. And so, and we have to remember that if you're following on social media people who are just like you, you're not an informed person. You're a fool. You're not getting information. You're just getting your own words spit back at you. Follow someone you hate. It will make you crazy. It will make you crazy. You'll be like, why did Brad make me do this? You want to unfollow them within a day. But eventually, start looking and realize that, like, whatever you like, the other side feels just as much about your guy. Right. And again, not that makes you feel any better, but if we don't try and look through someone else's eyes, you can't stop. That's what the Civil War teaches us. And when you look at this plot, the reason I love it is we all know Abraham Lincoln at the end of the Civil War. We all know that he won the day. We all know it worked. We know him that, the slaves got free, the Emancipation Proclamation happens. But what's far more interesting to me is when we meet him in the Lincoln conspiracy, it's the beginning of his journey. He's Abraham Lincoln 1.0. He's just starting. You know what Abraham Lincoln was doing when he found out he won the nomination for president? He was in an alley playing handball, right? He's just a normal guy, man. He's a normal person again. Before he leaves for Washington, D.C., one of the last things he does is he goes to see his father's grave. He goes home to see his father's grave, and he goes to see his stepmother. And he's such a big guy that he goes into the room, and his stepmother's in this little rocking chair, and he literally puts his giant arms around the grandmother and the rocking chair and hugs them both. Like, that's how physically big he is. And then she starts crying. He supposedly starts crying. When he leaves there, she says, I'm just worried that I'm never going to see him again. I'm worried he's going to be assassinated in office. And she's absolutely right. And I love that you see Lincoln doubt himself, make mistakes. They lose the first inaugural speech because they're so disorganized. I love that you see him like that, because it's a reminder that all of us, we're not perfect. Every single one of us, we are scared and we are amazing and we are terrified and we are brave. Some of us in the same few days, some of us in the same few minutes, depending on when you catch us, especially these days. So that's what I love most about the book is I get to show you the humanity of Abraham Lincoln again.
Going back to something you just said, Brad, about, following and sharing on social media and getting other people's opinion. I agree with you. I'm a big fan of that theory, by the way. But, with this pandemic and the COVID-19, everybody, it's become, instead of everybody together, which I actually thought we might get that post 9/11 feel again. We have it, and people are trying to find scapegoats and conspiracies. Now, look, I'm the first to jump onto a conspiracy. I find they're interesting. There's a lot of stuff that you've done in your career where you've talked about conspiracies with the virus. Do you think, is it what it is, or is there some truth behind maybe a possible conspiracy?
I think in an odd way, the job of people who love conspiracies is to kind of keep asking the hard questions. There's never anything wrong with asking the hard questions. What upsets me about where we are now is we should be in the 9/11 afterglow of a terror, horrible thing. That is the one, you can't say it's a good thing by any stretch because it's not, but the one thing that you remember after 9/11 is how it felt to be an American again. You weren't a Democrat, you weren't a Republican, you were an American. You felt like we were united. And that's what we should be now. And the reason we're not is because even our leaders are just they want to point a finger as opposed to like, open your hand, man. You know how many people died? We should have a daily thing every day saying like, listen, whoever you are, we know you lost someone out there. Let's honor the dead. Like that should be a daily thing we do. And we're not, because all we're doing is we're a bunch of hammers looking for nails. We're trying to find blame. We're trying to find this. We're trying to blame it on this one. Like, I do not like the fact that right now there are friends of mine who are Asian who are running around and people are calling them ethnic slurs because you have people saying, oh, it's their fault. When we start playing them, it's them, those people, we're doing it wrong, man. So do I think there are good questions to ask? Always. But you ever see what Dr. Fauci, you ever see his response when all that stuff comes up? He's like, he rolls his eyes and he's like, this is nonsense, man. That's not where the energy should be going right now. We got to be dealing with our dead and making sure other people don't die. And however we get there, we're figuring out there's a hard situation. And then when this is over and the crisis is over, yeah, let's start asking questions of like, what happened? But do I think this is some diabolical thing because, you know, people were eating bats and all that nonsense? Like, not until you show me evidence. You know, that's how all conspiracies are. What conspiracies are they your fears revealed? Show me your favorite conspiracy and I'll show you what you're afraid of.
Right.
And, you know, all your reason you're seeing these conspiracies come up right now is because people are scared. They're scared and they want to have something to blame it on because it'll make them feel like there's an enemy and we can fight against something. Because right now there's nothing to fight against. It's a virus. Is
that possibly maybe a new Brad Meltzer show for history? You know, conspiracy.
I would do it eventually when the information is there. I would absolutely be like, that's worth tackling. But right now you can't. You know, it's just too like we're in the mode. It would be like after 9/11, just everyone pointing fingers, say it was them, it was them, it was them, as opposed to saying like, let's bury our dead. Let's figure out what's happening, and then we'll move on and figure it out. But you know, we'll get there. We'll get our answers. Don't worry. But I think it's more important to ask the hard questions of leadership right now than to point fingers at people who have different skin color than you.
Nate, the difference between your fake, phony library background and Brad's.
I hope that every book in that background, Nate, is written by me.
It is, all of them. A lot of the children's
That's
books.
Why I love you, Nate, man. Of course.
Hey, Brad, you chose Lincoln for obvious reasons for the book, but out of the other presidents that this country has had, did you run across any other interesting enough stories to possibly write a book about when it comes to assassination attempts? Or is Lincoln kind of, you know, Lincoln, Reagan, Kennedy, you know, those are the ones we kind of, those are the ones that are going to make people more interested? Or they're
nope, there's more. We're already working on it, brother. So trust me, there's more. And that's what's crazy. You know, I went to Secret Service headquarters once. I do some work with them and they were helping me with the book. And they showed me kind of a little war room. It used to be, the Secret Service used to have a threat and a letter was sent. You'd go and they'd knock on the door and say like, hey, we're here to talk to you about that threat you just made. It's not the way it works anymore. It's all, as you know, so much of it is social media. Everyone suddenly can just, you don't need to send a letter just to post something. So they have these kind of war rooms that are set up. And you would not believe how many threats every president gets. You would not believe how many threats, I was there, I think I was there when W was president and when Barack Obama was president, and how many threats over and over that you will never hear about keep coming. Of course, what's interesting to me, the ones that get close. That's what's interesting. Not just that there's some lunatic out there. Because, one of my favorite scenes in the Lincoln Conspiracy is this moment where they have to tell Abraham Lincoln that there's a threat against you, but it's a real one. It's not some like lunatic just shouting out. And they say to Lincoln, it's at the end of the day, it's in a hotel room and Lincoln's exhausted. He's been shaking hands all day. And he says, they say, sir, we have this threat. They're going to, we think there's a plot to kill you. They explain it all to him. They say, we know you have a big event tomorrow in Philadelphia. We want you to miss that event. Skip the event. Let us get you out of there early so we can avoid all the, anything happening to you. And Lincoln in that moment is like, I'm not skipping my event in Philadelphia. No way. And they're like, why? And he says, if you want to know what he's doing in Philadelphia the next day, is what he's doing in Philadelphia is he's there to honor, they're raising a flag to honor the birthday of one of Abraham Lincoln's favorite heroes, a man named George Washington. And Lincoln's like, I'm not missing out on Washington. He's not missing out. And Lincoln goes and to Philly, risks his own life, God bless Josh Mensch, found the actual speech. And the speech basically talks about how the Declaration of Independence is about everyone having an equal chance. And Lincoln says, if we can't solve our problems without giving that up, and he pauses and he's like, then you should assassinate me right here. And it's an awesome moment because you know right there, he knows there's a credible plot against him. But he still is like, that's how much I believe in this. And I won't ruin it, but like right after that, soon after that, is when they sneak him out of there. And I won't tell you how because it's so awesome to see how they really do it. But that's the best part of the book, is not just watching, some lunatic. Because I know the Secret Service told me, I just remember this, the Secret Service told me that there's two kinds of people who hunt presidents, who try to kill presidents. There's hunters and there's howlers. And a howler makes a lot of noise and says, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to kill this person, I'm going to do that. But they make noise, they rarely do anything. But hunters are very different than a howler. A hunter makes no noise and takes action. And if you look at the 4 people that actually were successful killing a president, they were hunters. And that's what's interesting to me.
You sent an email out. I was on the email about when your 50th birthday, which was April 1st. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, brother.
And you were talking about all these things that you remember throughout, your 50 years. And I remember when I was a kid, even though I'm assuming, I don't know, Reagan assassination. That was what year? 80.
I think it was 83.
83.
82 or 83.
Okay, so I was, 6, 7 years old. And I remember where I was at, the smell of the room, the color of the chair, the feel of the television, the weather outside, why I was home. And it was like it was yesterday. So it was kind of, when I was looking through your email and all the cool things that you remembered. And then, of course, the book that you have with the Lincoln Conspiracy, I was like, that's, my mother would tell me about the day Kennedy was shot. And in high school, she comes to school and everyone is crying. Everyone is crying. And then I've never gone through, other than Reagan, the assassination, but I remember all the adults talking about it. So that one would stick out to me, like some of the things that were sticking out to you in your 50 years.
Yeah, no, and listen, presidential, attempts, they're like these national moments. They really are. And in fact, even this Lincoln conspiracy story, people are like, why don't I know the story? Like, it was the biggest story in the country. It was on the front of, newspapers all across the country. But then guess what happens right after? The Civil War explodes. And 4 years after that, Abraham Lincoln gets a bullet in his brain. And this story just becomes a footnote. But not anymore. We found it and, we're going to pull it out and we get to present it again. But yeah, these things are not small in any way. They affect permanent memories.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, we're going to tell people to go anywhere you can buy books, right, Brad? Amazon, if you can get into a bookstore. I'm sure some of them are opening up again, but if not, just order it online, right?
Yeah, you go anywhere, any bookstore. All bookstores need help right now. They really do. Whether it's your independent, whether it's Amazon, every Barnes and Noble needs help right now. Their stores are closed. And you can download it now. I know people love them for Mother's Day and Father's Day, and I appreciate the Father's Day presents that people are thinking. What I love even more, though, is just supporting, especially right now, finding heroes for people you love. We all need to look up to some really amazing heroes right now. And I love that people are using our books to do that.
Do you voice the audio book?
I don't. Scott Brick, who does our thrillers, has done them forever. And he's like an award-winning, amazing guy because he does all the voices too. And like, I could do like one story, but you got to do multiple people on a train, and you got to do like Abraham Lincoln when he's young, and you got to do a crazy secret society. So I am not that good an actor. He is a master. Although when I read in front of him, like when I go and do a book reading, I was once at one where he was there, and I realized like I love his intonation so much that I steal it. And he's in the front row. He has this deep baritone voice that's just, like James Earl Jones. And every time I go up, he looks at me and he's like, okay, jackass, show me what you got, because I got my totally different way of doing it because his way is so much better.
What happened to your crew from the television show? The three
Decoded
people
crew. Yeah. So Buddy, McKinley, and Scott, I speak to all of them. Scott became a judge, which was amazing. He's actually, he's your honor now. Buddy is writing books of his own, historical books. And McKinley was in Alaska and moved back, and she's an amazing woman and is doing her own stuff. She's in a band, and everyone's doing kind of like the cool thing that they were, I love the fact that, McKinley is doing science stuff. She was a scientist. Buddy was our historical nut. He's writing historical books. Scott was a prosecutor and is now a judge. So I feel like I love that crew, and I still speak to them. They're dear friends. And in fact, today, if you go on History Channel's social media, I'm back on their social media because I'm teaching history to kids on their site. So that's
very cool
to do with them. I love working with them.
I always thought that they could get a spinoff. I liked that crew.
Yeah, way to give them a spinoff. And no, we don't want them to spin off. We want them to be on our show. No, they did. They deserved it, man. They were amazing. They would always do my wife used to call it. She said it was like Charlie's Angels for history nerds she's like, why do you get to stay home and they run around? I'm like, I got to write the books. I can't be out there.
One last question before we get the food, and I know you got to go. Was there ever any story that you had pitched for your shows on History Channel that didn't make the cut, that upset you, that you thought that should have made television?
Trying to think. They actually let us do whatever we wanted. To their credit, I mean, even when we went to Bohemian Grove, this is funny. So we went, we did Bohemian Grove, secret society that every Republican president and most Democratic presidents have been a part of, this secret society in California. And we had sent a whole crew out there to get into Bohemian Grove. Look it up. It's an amazing, look up our episode. It's pretty wild. And we send them out there. And I feel like I might have told you the story last time I saw you. But they called me up. It was 11 at night. They're on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. And they call me up and I know something's wrong. And they go, Brad, the team just got arrested. And I immediately said, did you get it on tape? And they're like, don't worry, Brad, everyone's okay. And I'm like, I meant, is everyone okay? And did you get it on tape? And so, yes, but they let us go anywhere. They let us, history never held us back. They were literally like, go for it. I love them for that.
Before the historian, before the author, Brad Meltzer, you're a true entertainer. I say that to Nate because, Nate not only produces the podcast, but also has been my longtime producer for radio. And he's gotten himself in a couple different predicaments because he's always out. And where the first question should have been, hey, oh my God, man, are you okay? But it's always like, dude, did you get that on tape? Did you get any audio?
We got a story, man. We got a story. We got a show to produce the next day. That's it.
Anything for the show.
Anything for the show.
Everything feeds the show. Of course it does.
All right, before we let Brad go, Chef Mike Patino in Queens, your debut on Shoot to Grill.
All right.
You are doing some skewers. Quickly run us through this because Brad's got to get up out of here.
Brad, first of all, it was an honor to meet you. I loved your story. I love listening to you.
What's your restaurant? Wait, plug your restaurant. What's your restaurant?
No. I'm a personal chef.
Personal? Oh, you're even better. Oh, this is going to be great food then. I know that.
Oh, that's it. Forget about it. This is it.
Forget about it.
So what I got over here is I got the chicken shawarma skewers with a tahini on top and a little quinoa. You can see that?
Yeah, that looks great. And it's plated so nicely.
And I made a side of hummus.
Oh my God!
With crunchy chickpeas. These have been air fried and they're spiced up, really good, and a little bit of smoked paprika and some olive oil.
And we'll have this. Go ahead, Brad.
Grill. I got one question. How do you know when the chicken on the grill is done? Because I feel like I always am like so scared to undercook it and then it gets too dry. We use a meat thermometer now, but how do you know? Because you're not using a thermometer.
No, I've been doing it so much that I just know when it's done. It tells me.
Well, to answer, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that all the time. It tells me.
Hold up, Brad, to answer your question, because I grill all the time, but I'm still, learning a lot. Chicken is always the issue. The thermometer is always the go-to, especially with white meat.
Yeah, we are all thermometers. It's changed our life. The thermometer has changed our life here.
Yeah, 160, 150. I mean, I like to do it a little bit under because it's going to residual cook.
It's going to keep going,
Yeah. So, the best thing is to eat the meat that's juicy. I hate going into a piece of – I will not order chicken breast in a restaurant. Forget about it. It comes out like a slab. So, but this is good.
forget about it. I'm in Destin at our condo, beachparadisecity.com, Pop. And we went deep sea fishing yesterday and pulled in some amberjack, some snapper, minko. I've never heard that fish, never caught that fish, and grilled it. And the only thing is a condo, so we have a George Foreman electric grill. I know, beat me up on it, but that's all we could have. There is nothing better than fresh fish right out of the Gulf.
Oh, yeah. Oh, please. You don't forget the grill. Just eat it raw. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's a work of art. I know
you down in Miami, you don't have that problem. So, all right, look, I know, Brad, you're going to be on the radio show in a few days. I'll
see you next week. Yeah, I can't wait. I love you guys. Seriously, I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. Kids books, adult books, all of it in between. Chef, man, Bayside, forever, right there. Represent. I love it.
All right, Brad, we'll talk to you soon. Take care, buddy.
Have a good one. Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you. Chef, with our other chef, Jimmy Bones. That's how we found you. You guys both auditioned for Master Chef, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I don't know if he was able to because he had something going on, but yeah.
Okay, you did. How far did you make it?
I made it pretty far. Obviously not to the taping, but I made it pretty far. I did a whole bunch of other video stuff and kept on going. And then one day, they sent me the, that notice in the mail. It is what it is, but that's okay. It's all an experience, I love doing this. Food is my passion. If I can't go on MasterChef to meet Ramsay, then one day he's gonna come to me.
What do you mean they sent it to you in the mail? What was this, Master Chef 1989? Why didn't they just shoot you an email?
No, email. I'm old school. Sometimes I get the e-part mail.
Like, God, you're waiting 2 weeks to find out what the hell has happened. How's everything there in New York with the virus? I mean, obviously I know on paper it's horrible, but you're in Queens. How's everybody holding up?
Everybody's holding up. We got to do what we got to do. I'm in my house. I'm in my house. We cook. We take my dog out. We go for little walks. We distance each other. I go out and I shop whenever I only need something. I have a pretty good pantry, so I'm okay. But we're surviving. We're doing okay. We're New Yorkers.
What kind of clothing store do you have? Yeah, like a men's boutique or something?
Men's clothing store. Yeah, it's in Corona, Queens. We do suits and stuff like that. But now with this virus, I don't think there's going to be any time soon where people are going to start going out and partying. So that's going to suck. So that's why I like doing my chef thing. My personal chef thing is, that's where I'm looking to go in the future.
Well, you can start making masks. That's what everybody else is doing. You make this Chef Mike Patino, Queens, New York mask. I bought one the other day here in Destin. I was at Target getting some supplies, and they had on the end cap masks in like this package, which I thought was pretty cool. Hand sanitizer, which I was like, wow, I hadn't seen that out in stores. Nice mask, by the way. And so it said one per person. So I wanted to play by the rules. I get one package of the masks and one hand sanitizer. I was like, I'm going to go back later and get more. And well, I went back today because I needed to get orange juice. Everything was gone. But the masks are horrible. It's like felt, and it's tight, and it goes around your ears. And when you put it on, it's like putting the top of a poker table on your face. And it's just, it's not comfortable. I can't breathe. I look ridiculous. I look like it's like the poor man's "Don't Kill Me" virus mask. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Change your background, Nate. Is that Iowa Beach?
I noticed that.
No, I'm just down the beach from you.
Oh, you are. You're gonna go to the beach here?
Yeah, let's go fishing later.
Okay. Nate surprised his parents in Iowa. Stopped off for Mother's Day, and it was a very cool video. Dad was stoked.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah.
Mom didn't even. Did you shave your mustache?
No, I still got it.
Okay, I can't see the sun. Nice. Did they like it?
Yeah, it was good. It was they were totally surprised. They didn't, like I said, my mom didn't even recognize me because I had my sunglasses, I had my hat for, and I had a mask on, and she just thought it was a delivery, and so I had to pull it down and be like, "Hey, it's me." So then she recognized it. But yeah, it was good. They were all surprised.
Look like the Unabomber or something walking up to her. She's like, "Oh my God, who are you?"
Yeah.
Chef Mike, I used to own a women's boutique when I lived in Tampa. And it was the worst experience of my life. It was horrible.
Really? What happened?
I got a divorce. But other than that, it was just a horrible experience. What is that you're eating? I can't see. I got the glare. Is that the skewers you just cooked in the hummus?
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna let this go to waste. I'm gonna eat it.
Oh yeah, don't definitely. All right, look, guys, I'm gonna head down to the beach. Oh my God, that looks amazing. Thank you, Chef Mike. I appreciate it. My Little Den, privatechef.com is your website, right? Correct?
My Little Eden, yeah, My Little Eden, because that's my daughter, Eden. My Little Eden, privatechef.com.
What did I just say? My Little Den? What an idiot. That's what happens when you leave out the other E. My Little Den, private chef. My Little Eden, private chef.
Yeah, that's awesome. It'll be great.
Chef Mike, if you have time, will you come back on the podcast?
I would love to. Are you kidding me? I want to do a Juicy Lucy that I do. Forget about it. It's with cheese inside. It's with bacon. It's got the egg on top of a sriracha bun.
That sounds
all right. Who are some of your favorite celebrities? Who do you like? Who are you a fan of?
I mean, I love Ramsey. You know, everybody does. You know, I feel he's a really, sincere person when it comes to, he does his craziness and stuff like that. But I would love to meet him one day. There's a few of them out there. You go blank when you're on TV, but
who's your favorite musician?
Who's my favorite musician?
Yeah, who do you like?
Living or dead?
Living.
Oh, God, man, do I suck? Do I not listen to music? You want to talk to my daughter? She knows.
Well, her taste is going to be a lot different than yours, I'm assuming. So why I'm asking is that this might be a guest we might be able to get on the show that, our way of repaying you for your time, you could finally meet somebody. So like a Gordon Ramsay or somebody that we might already know that we could get on. Because a lot of this is through friends, like Brad Meltzer and I have been friends for a million years. So a lot of these guests are just friends of ours.
That's cool. Hey, listen, that doesn't matter to me. I like to cook for anybody. That's it.
Billy Joel, right? Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. Yeah, Billy. Yeah, okay.
Dwight Gooden, Babe Ruth. Yeah, those kinds of people.
I'll get Babe Ruth on, don't worry.
All right. My Little Eden, privatechef.com. Nate, have fun in Iowa. Tell Mr. Mrs. Nates that I said hello. For any of you poker players, you like to play poker, stgpoker.com. stgpoker.com. As soon as you go to that site, you can. Who is that?
My brother.
I can't see. Hey, buddy! I can't see you with the glare. You got your mustache and your mohawk. Let me see.
No mohawk. I let my girlfriend cut my hair again, which also was a second failure.
Oh yeah, turn it around.
oh boy, that's good.
I'll grow back, right? Let's hope.
Hey, that's my theory too, dude. Last night here at the condo, I had Rach try to trim up my sides with the peanut razor, and she just butchered it. So I think I'm just going to try to find somewhere that halfway knows what they're doing and just say, just please, I'm going to wear a mask.
I can do it what you want.
Yeah, by the way, Chef Mike, this is the first time that we had two bald people at the same time on the podcast.
I noticed that when he came on. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
We're the #1 grilling bald podcast in the country.
Yes, it was almost like we were doing a Make-A-Wish show. Anyway, for you poker fans, STG, like Shoot to Grill, stgpoker.com. Go to the website first. You sign up. You load up your account. Then you go to your phone or your tablet. You download the app, and you can play mobilely wherever you want. But you got to load up on the website. That'll also give credit to Shoot the Grill and the podcast, knowing that it came from us, stgpoker.com. It's a lot of fun. I'm actually up maybe $20, $30, I think, right now. I'm in one of the rooms. You might find me. So we kind of run into each other. I've run into some of the people that listen to the podcast, stgpoker.com. All right, guys, I'm going to go to the beach. That's where I'm going. Beachcharadicecity.com. Pop. I'm going to go to the beach. What's that?
I'm going to go inside now.
You go inside. Nate, you go do what Iowans do, whatever that is. And we'll talk to everybody sooner or later. You can go to shootthegrillpodcast.com, the website, and get all the recipes, not only from this episode with Brad Meltzer, but also every other single episode. We've had some amazing chefs and amazing food. You can get all of them on the website. Watch, view, share, forward, like, all that good stuff. All right. Have a good one. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.